Hello, everyone. Happy New Year and happy Epiphany on this January 6th. This is actually the sixth anniversary of Integral Christian Network. We started 6 years ago today, and when Paul and I started, we sent that first email and launched the website on this day. We had no idea what it would become, what it would grow into, all that has come forth from this community over these years. That's really astounding. And something just felt right about doing it on Epiphany. It was maybe a little sooner than I think I felt totally ready and comfortable for in some ways, but we launched it out there, we put it out and began as you do, I guess. And it's just been an incredible 6 years. And something about Epiphany felt right. Like I said, like it was an expression of how ICN was and how we hoped it to be a manifestation of God present to all, with each of us, I guess, giving and receiving our gifts and graces, like the Magi to the Christ child, and through the Christ in all of us, participating in that exchange and connection and loving community to the whole world, all across the globe. We have, something like 40 WeSpace groups right now, and people from 29 different countries. So we really are a global community with so many different vibrant offerings and gatherings in our midst. It's incredible to see all that has come forth in these 6 years. Of course, this year has been a year of significant change for us as a community as we've walked through Paul's passing and holding both the grief and glory as Paul brought to us in his final months as his kind of last lesson from this side, and something that he was holding, and an invitation he brought to us as a community to really move into that participation in how Jesus was both a man of sorrows and a man of glory. And so we have walked through that integration together. And I really have seen how that's been such a new unfolding and expression of our mystical life. I really like Ramon Panikar's definition of mysticism, which is the holistic experience of all of reality, where everything belongs, where it's all a part of this thing that we call life. And we can learn to integrate it and come into it, into a greater wholeness, where all of these things are part of who we are, for ourselves, for one another, and for the world, the I, the we, and the all. And it's our invitation into this holistic transformation that we come into more and more. Through our embodied mystical practice and our loving community and presence to one another through these things such as grief, and through these things such as the glory that comes through in the energetic living presence even through death. There's so many ways that I've experienced that with Paul in his passing and in his memorial service, and since this is all part of this work that we're doing together. And this transformation is also not just for us, but it is for the world. It's for the loving evolution of Christianity and the world, for us to participate and be active contributors to the divine work of evolution. That's what this is for. It's not just so we can become better people, although that's a wonderful thing too, but how we live and manifest that holistic experience into the world, with our neighbors, with one another, with our loving presence. And this has always been a part of the central vision of ICN, of course, but we're coming into a new stage of reflecting that and entering into that organizationally and communally. And we're calling that new stage We Creating. And there's a lot I could say about We Creating, and we'll be saying more and more in the year to come. But, ICN started out of a community of Paul and myself. From the generative relationship that we shared, I saw and experienced and felt how that creative spirit grew exponentially through our sharing together. And we experienced the power that comes when we work together in the dynamic mystical field of love with openness to what might emerge. And it's amazing and astounding how that emergence comes in ways that we might never expect. And this is the communal creative nature of God, rather than our culture of individualism. It is communal. It comes through that inter dance among us that Paul and I experienced, but it was never just about Paul and me. It's, we had a central part of that work, of course, as founders. We set the foundation. We opened up this invitation, though, really to a communal dance of participation, and it continues to unfold and express more and more. ICN is us. It's a communal expression of our divine becoming that we are growing into together more and more. And for the world, as I said, it's not just about us, but from this transformation that we grow into, we also grow into our divine expressions, which is to create in loving evolution, the future unfolding of the work of God in our midst. So, this vision of we creating is one that we'll be exploring over this upcoming year through the next series of articles, and of course, in many other ways in the we, in our community, and participation and practices as we lean into this we creating work, this act of worship, this way of expressing our divine becoming as a gift to ourselves and the world and to one another. And there's so many ways that this has already been happening, and especially throughout this last year, I just want to thank all of you so much for the many ways that you have contributed and engaged in the life of ICN, how you've reached out, how you've stepped into so many different ways and acts of we creation in the community of ICN and beyond. I know that it's happening in our local settings in ways that we're learning and bringing those into so many places. I hear stories of those all the time, and so I'm so grateful and thankful for all the ways that people have we created ICN through so many different gatherings and practices hosted and crafted by community members through our WeSpace groups and our new WeSpace groups, the 10 that we launched over this last year. And so many more things. And of course, for the incredible financial support that has been given this last year that have helped us really grow into a new place of organizational thriving and preparing for the future. We were able to hire our new community assistant, G, which has just been such a blessing this last year. I don't think we could have done all that we've been able to do this year, certainly without her. And that's been such a blessing to our organization. And we've also, through this last year's Growing Tuesday and all the support that's been given, have prepared the way to grow another staff member through another staff member to cultivate our community in ways that will enhance this mission of we creating. Someone who can foster the we creation among us, empowering the many gifts and passions among us that comes through our creative collaboration for how Spirit is calling us to evolve in our midst. And so that's something we're working toward and now have the base finances to begin and look to that process. So this has just been such a year of incredible blessing and transformation for ICN and we creation that will continue to come forth. Of course, Paul is still with us as a guiding ancestor. He's present in many of our gatherings and to me and has shown up in lots of wonderful ways. I can see and feel and receive the spiritual work that he's been doing in those realms and sometimes comes through and brings that. And then, of course, more than that, he is expanding his spirit, his energy, and as all of us expand and grow into the new possibility that comes through the field of we creation that grows into more and more partnerships, into more and more we space communities of generativity and possibility. So that energy of possibility and what is ahead is so palpable. I can't say I know entirely all of what that looks like substantively, but the force of it is so tangible. And really, that's because of you all, because of all of us engaging in this sacred work together in countless ways that is so present and so beautiful. So thank you all so much from the fullness of my heart and from my whole being for everything, for this beautiful gift of ICN that we are and that is to come among us and from us together in the future.